to, for example, something as I would, if I would have a problem and I would go to a mosque and I would ask a scholar, he won't necessarily give me an answer, which as a youth, as a Muslim youth growing up in the West, it's pertinent to my life. And I don't see the link between the religious education and religious sort of sphere to my life as a youth Muslim. And I was really interested in what you've said on your about your NGO. Sure. And I just want to know how can people like us as a cognizant youth Muslim, can I or people who are interested in bridging this gap can use religion and music as a way to bring awareness to the youth who have problems like this. For example, living in a globalization world, even if you're living in Pakistan, right, in Pakistani society, yeah, you will have some sort of dialogue with people living in America and Canada or UK. And how can we use music and religion and sort of this transnational sphere in order to bring awareness, in order to have sort of, a youth dialogue going on? Sure. I just wanted to comment on that.
Sure, thank you for that question. Well, like I said, and I talk about this again in great detail in the book, but healing has been a core, it's a core message throughout my career. I went to medical school for 5 years, and so seeing, poor people coming into government hospitals with no money at all, have cancer, blood anemias, and you would see that most of the time, despite the best efforts of the doctors, they wouldn't have a chance to be treated. So that, that I saw that over 5 years, that changed me in a big way. So even though I wanted music to be my passion and I wanted to sort of be a musician, but along my career, I've always had social advocacy, which is the counterpoint to the music. It has to be linked to social advocacy. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that. That's me personally. So Samina, my wife, is a doctor as well. We started a nonprofit called Salman Samina Global Wellness Initiative, ssgwi.org. And our point is to promote all the things that you're saying, right? Interfaith dialogue, girls' education, health, and basically do what we've been doing for 20 years, but under this umbrella called SSGWI, and why I think it's so important for us to do social advocacy, because in the world I've seen politics demonizes what culture humanizes. Through culture, you can speak across national, religious, ethnic divides without threatening people, right? I don't need somebody's vote. It's not like I'm here to ask for your vote. But what I'm saying is that if civil society across national boundaries, religious boundaries, comes together, the urgent threats we face in the world today, and they're huge. Pandemic diseases like HIV/AIDS. I know I'm a UN ambassador. HIV/AIDS, global warming, terrorism, nuclear proliferation. The one thing common about all these things is they know no boundaries. There's no national boundaries. Terrorism doesn't remain confined behind national boundaries, any borders. It just travels. Global warming, same. It's not confined. Like, if something happens in Bangladesh, it's going to affect America, right? Similarly with nuclear proliferation, it affects not just the two countries who have nuclear weapons, they affect the entire world. And you just heard the phone ring. We are so connected. SMS, Facebook, Twitter. We are so connected that the idea of nationalism for me. It's great. Look, when the cricket match happens, I have a Pakistani flag, right? But beyond that, we are a global community. We have to be global citizens.
Transcending national law.
Yeah, and so we have to bring ourselves into that paradigm which we are living in, on a head level and on a heart level. So SSGWI, our launch was last September. As you know, in Pakistan, in the Swat Valley, there were 3 million IDPs, who were displaced, internally displaced people who were running away from the fighting between the army and the Taliban. So we put together a concert at the UN General Assembly Hall. in which I invited people from all walks of life to be on stage. So from the Danish hip hop band Outlandish, right? From Junoon to Susan Bayham to Sting. Sting also sang Fragile, and Deepak Chopra was there, and Jeff Skoll, Bobby Sager. Um, we brought those people together to show that we are a global community, and it was an incredible moment because had it not been for the Pakistani American community and the Pakistani diaspora, there was no way I would have been empowered to do it. So this is what these kind of events do. They bring people together, and unfortunately, they don't get the same kind of coverage that a Faisal Shahzad would get. But don't think that these um, initiatives have no meaning. They have great power, but you don't see it in the news. It's happening on a societal level.
Okay, the gentleman there.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, you're doing great. Really love the performance. There's something you mentioned earlier. I actually thought about when you were making that song, I could connect.
Yeah.
Because the beat is something that connects universally. It's stuck food, you can connect with it. And like you said already, it's not that your sole purpose was just for the music. It was to send out a message to find people's purpose in life. The part I wanted to ask was, how can we get this more to our youth? How can we get them to more connect? Because obviously not saying all of them become rock stars, but how can we get them to connect to find their purpose through using music or using a connection like yourself? How can
Sure. So listen to the whisper in your heart. Again, that's my book. The reason I wrote this personal narrative is that people will see that all of us have a whisper in the heart. Okay, but we're afraid, or we're not sure, or society is saying, "Who do you think you are to follow the whisper?" Right? I'm saying that if you do follow the whisper in your heart, you will find great meaning, purpose in your life. And no, it's not about the whisper is not like everybody pick up a guitar and then start singing. No, you could be a scientist, you could be a doctor, you could be a writer, anyone, but do what is connected to your passion. Because if you're only doing it to make money or to make yourself sort of seem respectable, by the time you get to 30, 35, you feel that you wasted your life. So I'm saying don't waste your life. These are great transformational times. Listen to the whisper in your heart.
Yeah, I guess sometimes it means challenging sometimes the people that are close to you, family, society, sometimes even what you think Islam is, because so many people will tell you otherwise. So I think it's a really strong personal journey, but if you look at the examples of all the prophets, they all had to shatter certain boundaries to get to places.
From a couple of points. One is that may Allah forgive me if I'm wrong, but there's a verse of the Quran which says, make Quran beautiful with your voice. There's music for you. And to agree with Maulana, 93% of the Quran talks about what is permissible, what is not.
Right.
Only 7% talks about what is forbidden.
Right.
So you can use these arguments.
Sure.
The question is,
Yeah.
why didn't you call your book Jazba Junoon?
So great question. Why did I say rock and roll jihad? Right. Well, first of all, I feel that the culture and language of Islam and the Muslim community is being hijacked. The word jihad, by the way, when I said to my publisher that I want to use the word jihad, they said, no way. This book will not sell. We will not promote it because it's a loaded term. And I said, well, that's exactly the reason I want to use it on the cover, because jihad conjures up, in people's minds in the West, especially, images of fear, violence, intolerance, but in its true sense, it means to strive, to make an effort, to overcome your ego, your nafs, to rise up, not only lift yourself up, but lift society up, to find your purpose, to listen to the whisper, So I was, and also the dichotomy. I think most of you who are here tonight come from different cultures. I mean, multiple cultures, and so I think it's important that we are multi-layered, multi-dimensional beings. That we need to hold on to each one of those layers.